Hello. Okay, so welcome to our training around joy. And today we're going to be talking about gratitude journal prompts, just some practical ways to help build gratitude into your life so that joy is more present. And especially in times where you are feeling discouraged or things just don't feel quite right, like they haven't been going the way you thought they should, or you're starting to feel stuck in a particular area, or like you should be further along by now, or things like that. That's what this is really for. Okay. So if you have access to the worksheets, there's a worksheet for this. It's the gratitude journal prompts. And I encourage you to print this out and use it to take some notes. Otherwise, get yourself a pen and some paper. You're going to want to jot some things down. So we're going to get started, all right? So most people are familiar with the idea of gratitude. That's a big hyped up thing in our culture lately. Attitudes of gratitude and having just a grateful spirit. I want to cover a couple of basic things. Number one, it's important that we recognize who we are being grateful to, and not just an attitude of gratefulness, but who are we saying thank you to? When we are saying, oh, I'm so grateful, grateful to whom? And so in my personal belief is that we are saying thank you to our creator. God is the creator of everyone and everything, and while he created all things, he also said they were very good. And so we have the opportunity to turn back to him and reflect gratefulness to him for his creation, for the way that he's provided, for the way that he looks after us. And so when I talk about expressing gratitude or feeling grateful, there is an element that when I talk about that, what I mean is in a direction towards our Heavenly Father who is the provider and the creator of everything, everyone in our life. Okay. The second thing is that I really want to establish that life supports more life. Okay. Now, there's a couple of verses that I want to read. Let me just pull them up here. They're on your worksheet, but I'm going to read them anyway because I think it'll be helpful. Okay, so one of them is Proverbs 27:17. And it says, iron sharpens iron, and one man sharpens another. Okay, so this idea that we build on each other. Now, the truth is we build on each other in whichever direction we're going. So if we are encouraging, it helps other people to feel encouraged and then be encouraging. If we are all the time discouraged and fussing and complaining, and that's what we project, then we we build a circle, of complaining and fussing around us. That is most often what will happen. And so whatever we're wanting more of is important that that's what we're producing. So if you want more things to feel like they're going right and feel good, then it requires focusing on what's going right and taking action from that place. Make sense? The other verse is in the New Testament, 1 Corinthians 10:23. 1 Corinthians 10:23. And that says, all things are lawful, but not all things are helpful. All things are lawful, but not all things build up. Okay? And so this verse is what helps me realize that people say it's okay to vent. All right? Yes, it is okay to vent. Is it actually helping you get what you want, though? Does it actually, in the process of just blurting out everything that you don't like about a person, there is a satisfying element to it. Like, finally, I was really honest about how I felt. But if you don't do anything with it after that, it's not actually helping anything. So all things are lawful, but not all things are helpful. They're lawful, but not all things build up. Is it really encouraging you? Is it really encouraging anybody else around you? Is it really edifying anybody else around you? Are you just wanting to be right and fuss about it and be okay and feel okay about fussing about it? Or do you actually want to feel different? Do you actually want to feel love in your heart for that person? Do you actually, or that situation? Do you want to find the energy of feeling genuinely grateful for the circumstance? Or are you just more interested in staying a victim, letting it be somebody else's fault so that you don't have to take responsibility? Those are some important questions to ask in the middle of feeling discouraged or frustrated about something, because the next step that you take is usually an indicator of what you really want. And sometimes the honest truth, I mean, I've honestly had those times where I am frustrated and I'm annoyed and I'm venting, and somebody says, what do you actually want in this situation? Do you want me to help you? Or are you just interested in feeling sorry for yourself and feeling right about how you're really justified for your actions in the situation? If you want to be right and justified and you just want sympathy and you want to play the victim, then let's go ahead and do that. Like, have at it. Here we go. It's not going to help you feel better about your life, though. So there needs to be a reckoning, right? Like, let's get really clear what we actually want. Then we can take action from that place, right? So in conjunction with that, the first question that I have on your worksheet is your current action serving the ideal woman you know you are called to be, or the one you are saying goodbye to? All right. Is this who I want to be in my life? Or is this an action that serves the part of me that I am trying to say goodbye to, get rid of? Easy to see in a diet, right? I am trying to decide whether or not to eat this piece of cake. Does eating this piece of cake serve the person that I am longing to be and that I'm committed to learning how to be? Or does it serve the woman that I'm trying to get rid of? The habits and the old self, so to speak. You can also ask the question a little bit differently. Does it serve the version of you that is free, joyful, and calm? Or does it keep serving the version of you that you're trying to fire? That you're trying to fire from that position? So get really clear, okay? Hopefully, if you're in the place of however difficult it is, however frustrating, however feels yucky, hopefully you get to the place where you say, all right, I really want to take action from a place of serving the version of me that is free, joyful, calm, the one that I know I'm called to be, the very best that I can be for God, working together with Him for His glory. That version of myself, that's who I want to be serving with my actions today. And so if you're discouraged, if you're frustrated, if you're feeling stuck, and that's the person you want to serve today, then this is for you, okay? So the second thing, after you've gotten really clear on which person you're serving, the second one is to journal about some things. Now, this is going to help you get off the hamster wheel of, it's not working, I don't know how this is going to work, I can't get it done, I've failed so many times, I don't want to waste any more time doing something that I'm just going to fail at again. Like, let's get off of that hamster wheel, okay? Here's how we do it. The first thing you do is you journal about, it's so exciting how far I've come because. Because why? Notice how far you've come in whatever you're longing to make progress in. If I was using this around my diet, I would say, I have come so far in knowing what healthy food is, in knowing what healthy food is that tastes good. I have come so far in knowing what does and does not work for my body. I have come so far in learning how to enjoy exercise. Do I still have 75 pounds to lose? Absolutely. I could focus on that and get really down and discouraged, and that will make me turn around and go eat chocolate all day long. Or I can focus on how far I've come. I've learned what clothes look good on my body. I've learned what I can eat that supports my body. I've learned what emotional triggers cause me to go stuff my face. I've learned, like, so far. There's so many healthy things that I enjoy eating, so many activities that are movement that I enjoy doing. I've learned to really enjoy walking, and it's learned that it's one of the best things I can do for my body. All these places that I've come so far, I can get excited about the progress that I'm making in my health. Make sense? All right, so the second sentence stem is, I'm so blessed to be living this life, and I can see it so clear here. So where can you see that you're blessed to be living this life? I have a gym. I have a membership for this month. I don't have one for next month, but I got one for this month, and I love it. I have DVDs that I can watch. We have a budget that will accommodate a lot of healthy choices that 95% of the world do not have access to. I am so blessed because I have, and this is just, taking the health side of things. We can use another example for a different one, but I'm so blessed to have a husband who is on board with healthy eating. I'm so blessed to have children who are willing to try new foods. I am so, like, what is it? Maybe this is a relationship issue, and you're struggling to really build a relationship and you keep having conflicts. Well, how are you so blessed to be living this life? I'm so blessed to be living this life with this person because, let's say it's a spouse, because we have these kids together, because we have fond memories of spending time together in various ways. And here are some of them that I remember having a good time being with this person. I'm so blessed to be living this life because there are so many resources available. We could do counseling, we could read books, we could watch YouTube, we could listen to comedians about marriage and then have conversations about how those things are true or not true in our life, depending on how much the joke resonates with us. We could, like, so many resources available. I'm so blessed that maybe we have conflict, but it's in the context of we have a home and a job and a car and, whatever. Like, do you see, there's always something that you can come up with that are blessings in your life that we take for granted. The next one is, it's so obvious that the situation is for my good because. So I'll do a different example with this one. Let's say, okay, real life example. I wanted my son to be in a higher math class because the math class he got put in this year is the same math class that he did last year. And I was really frustrated that I couldn't seem to get a hold of the people to get it switched around, and it just wasn't working. And 2 weeks in, he was still in the same class, and I was annoyed. And so I finally had to, like, at some point, it became like it was actually going to cause more damage to change him to a different class because he had been in this one for so long. So here I am, I'm in the situation, I'm frustrated. The question is, the sentence is, it's so obvious that this situation is for my good because, well, all right, how could this be for our good? Well, if he repeats a lot of the concepts he already knows, then that's one class that he does not have to struggle with the academic content in while he's learning and transitioning in all kinds of other areas of his life. So I can see how that would help him feel successful in one area while working on so many others. Maybe God knows that we need a break from dealing with math questions every single night. And so this gives him a chance to really feel successful on his own and work on his math problems and get practiced in doing the work himself. If he builds a pattern of being able to do the work himself, perhaps that skill is going to transfer on to further years down the road. So this could be really a gift for us. Do you see how we can look at all kinds of situations and see how they could be for our good? And the Bible tells us that that for believers, God works all things together for good for those who believe him and are called according to his purpose. So we are focused on following the purpose God has laid out for us. And we're trusting that he is the Savior of our lives and the Lord of our whole being, and our job is to give him glory. Like, if those are our foundational beliefs, our core beliefs, then we can absolutely believe that everything will work for our good, no matter what it is. And that means there's some good to find in it. There's a good opportunity or something we can learn, or a way that we're growing that is being met through a difficult circumstance. And we can get excited about that. So those are 3 different sentence stems. It's so exciting how far I've become because I'm so blessed to be living this life, and I can see it so clear here. And it's so obvious that this situation is for my good because. Now, other questions you can ask to build your gratitude focus include, what would I do if today was going to be the best day of my life? If I decided ahead of time that this day was going to be worth not only some gratitude, but like some serious celebration party afterwards, what would I do? I can think of numerous things that I would do if I knew this was the best day. I would definitely get dressed and fix my hair and put on my makeup and put on my earrings, because whatever is happening, I want to be ready for it. Shoes, you name it. Get myself ready for an amazing day. I want to feel good on the day that is the best day of my life, right? Would we eat breakfast? Would we drink our coffee? Would we grouch at our husband as he's going out the door, or would we give him a kiss and tell him goodbye? How would we approach our kids if it's going to be the absolute best day of your life, like worthy of a party? How would you respond to the other people in your life? Well, usually if I know something good is coming, I'm a little bit giddy. I'm a little bit excited. I'm a little bit like, yay, happy day to me. And I kind of express that to my family. That's what rolls off. Yay, happy day to me. Happy day to you. This is going to be a good day. Have a good day at school. Let's sit down and do our devotions together, whatever. If you homeschool, it would look like, yay, let's knock these things out because it's going to be an amazing day. We're all going to have an awesome time in school today. Let's get the job done, right? There's things that we would choose. If we're already decided that it's going to be a miserable day, don't we make different decisions about how we prepare for that day? Like, well, if it's going to be miserable, might as well avoid it as much as possible. Stay in the bed. Don't bother showing up to life, right? But no, if it's going to be amazing, we're going to show up to life at the top of our game. And that sets us up to see amazingness around us and get excited about it, have a grateful attitude, and be joyful. So what makes you smile today? What can you look around and see that makes you smile? People interacting with each other and getting along. People sharing their heart with me, and even if it's hard things, they're willing to talk about it. The fact that I tried on a new blouse and I really enjoyed how it looked. The fact that I get the opportunity to um, work side by side with my son later this afternoon. The fact that I got to enjoy Brandon going off to his job this morning, knowing that he absolutely loves his job and he's enjoying it and he's enjoying showing up to work today. And I know he's going to get there and have an absolute blast. That makes me smile. That gets me excited. I'm genuinely grateful for that. So those are some questions you can ask. What's making you smile today? Some other practical ways to get into this gratitude group, and these are just things that the more you do them, the more you just incorporate them into your life and you see that they make you feel good. They genuinely make you feel good. And we don't always like doing them at the beginning, but they make you feel good. All right, so some other things you can do are journal the positives, just like we did just now. That's the journaling. You can make a new music playlist. I loved one night, I was having trouble sleeping, and I just Googled different things like joyful music, gratitude music, songs that are encouraging, songs that are empowering, just all kinds of, and I listened to little snippets of them and pulled from here and there and everywhere and created a playlist of stuff that was encouraging, right? So you can do that to help you feel better. The music touches our emotions in a way that few other things do. And you can feel discouraged and intentionally put on a song that does not match how you feel, or a song or two, and it will change your emotions as you listen to it. Okay? Another way that you can practically practice gratitude is to physically celebrate. We do this when it's still socially acceptable to do this at a sporting event, right? You can go to a baseball game or a football game and people go crazy celebrating when their team wins. Yes, and they're jumping up and down and they're yelling their heads off and they paint their bodies incredible colors and they have giant posters and they yell and scream and holler and they get in front of the camera and they make an absolute fool of themselves celebrating for a team that wins points in a game that in the grand scheme of things, I'm just going to be honest, matters not at all, right? Like living and dying, other countries, world peace, people starving, whether or not you get along with your spouse at the end of the day, whether or not a team scores points in a touchdown or in a home run has no bearing whatsoever, right? People get super excited about that, about sports games, and it's still okay to like celebrate like crazy. There's a chemical thing that happens, and I think it's one of the reasons why our country loves sporting events and plenty of other countries, because we get that high, we get that chemical high when we celebrate. We feel amazing when we celebrate, and so we go back to doing things that get that feeling again. So we go back to watching a sports game because it's okay to scream and holler and get super excited about it. It makes us feel good. You can do that about other things in your life, though. People might think you look like a crazy person, but it can change how you live life. If you have a hard conversation with your child and you both weather it and you get through the other side and both of you are still there, standing, talking to each other, celebrate it. Get excited about it. It gives you hope that you can have a feeling of joy around having difficult conversations. And you will start to build a pattern of going back to that and it being worth it just because it feels good. It feels good and joyful to go through that. Just like there's plenty of anxiety that happens in the middle of a sporting event with people who are diehard fans. They're over there freaking out and they're willing to go through the, oh my goodness, freaking out, they're going to lose, because they know how good it feels to celebrate on the other side. So we're just going to take that and we're going to apply it to everyday life things that are going on, things that you do that you succeed in. You do some house cleaning, celebrate it. Put on some dance music and dance around the house after you swept it. If you have a good conversation with your husband, do something to celebrate it, like physically move your body. Dance. Yeah, we had a hard conversation and nobody died. I'm not kidding. All right? Put on some music, dance around, scream and holler, throw up your hands and act like a crazy person. If your kid succeeds in a difficult school subject, all of you have like a big wave cheering session. One of your children finishes reading a book. The whole family can get around and like 3 cheers for that person. Hip, hip, hooray, hip, hip, hooray, like, and have everybody jump up like it's a sporting event. I guarantee you it helps. All right, enough of that. Celebrate with your kids. Same way. Get them involved. Help them learn that it's okay to celebrate. Help them learn that it's okay to do this. Because otherwise, it's like, finally did that thing that I needed to do 3 weeks ago. Good. All right, next thing that I'm behind on schedule with. That is so not inspiring. It is not joyful. It doesn't inspire us to do anything else. It doesn't inspire anybody around us, right? All right, so celebrate with your kids. Get them in the habit of this being okay, that this is what our family does. And anything else that helps you get in the gratitude groove. Notice the things in your life that just naturally help you feel that joy. What are those things that you do? One of the things that I love is finding good, clean comedy. That just makes me like, we laugh and we have a good time and it lifts my spirits and encourages me. So, you know, if our family is tired, a lot of times we'll turn on some clean comedy of some sort and have some good laughs and just like enjoy life being funny. It's good. But feel free to write down some other things for you on your paper. What else helps you get into the gratitude groove? All right. So, and then I've got some other questions, just some troubleshooting here. What if someone else is raining on your gratitude parade? Like you're really grateful, you're having a good spirit about this, you're enjoying it, and somebody else comes up and like, you're being annoying. Can you just stop? Right? It's easy to get defensive when something like that happens. Like we get self-conscious about how we're celebrating, but really, usually this is about them and not us, right? So you say, how is this about them instead of me? What are they longing for that they don't have that is causing them to kind of attack or be jealous or try to shut down what I'm doing? There's usually some sort of uncomfortable feeling going on, like I'm uncomfortable with feeling grateful for some reason. It's not familiar. They've gotten their hopes up before and been joyful, and then the next thing is they got slammed with some really difficult circumstance. That's a possibility, but usually that's about them and not you. Or maybe you start being grateful and someone else starts fussing. Are you simply using their fussing as an excuse for why you can't be joyful? I fall prey to doing this with my children, or have in the past. I'm better at it now, but I still mess up from time to time in this area of, you are making it really difficult for me to be kind. Well, maybe, but my responsibility is to be kind regardless of other people, right? So, not their fault. Am I using their fussing as an excuse to not step into that joyfulness, right? All right, so then have I enrolled them into my attempt at gratitude? What's the ultimate vision? And am I communicating that? I'm wanting us to express gratitude and celebrate more because I think our family gets along better when we all are practicing incorporating more gratitude and joy into our lives. So, and you can have like a base conversation with the people around you like that. I'm like, I'm going to really be practicing having a better attitude about life. And so I'm asking for your help. Please help contribute to that attitude in our family. I think we can raise the level of how good everybody's feeling and how much we enjoy life if we all work together. So enroll other people in your vision of what you're trying to accomplish. Beware of negative influencers, the news or the media, which I think their primary job is to just scare the crap out of you. That is not going to be conducive to a joyful, regular attitude. Like, have you worry about 20 bazillion things that you can't do anything about right now. It serves no purpose other than to create mass hysteria and anxiety and cause people to make rash decisions and dependence on other people to run their lives. That's my personal opinion. And if my primary goal is to love on my people well in my life and those around me, then if what's happening is not somehow impacting the lives of those people around me and it's creating anxiety, I don't need to listen to it. You can also be aware of this with family and friends. Are there negative influencers that are causing that are bringing your spirit down every time you talk to them? That doesn't mean, one of these days I'm going to get on a big soapbox about this, but that doesn't mean, oh, toxic relationship, run, cut them out of your life. That's not what we're talking about here. But what it does mean is recognize how those people influence you and how they impact you. And you need to be aware of it enough to counter it in some way. So if you know you talk to somebody that has high anxiety and you don't want to spend your whole day that way, then you choose very carefully when you're going to talk to that person and then what you're going to do immediately afterwards to counterbalance their struggles. Does that make sense? So maybe you talk to them and have a conversation that's difficult, and then you just intentionally plan that immediately after you're going to do one of your gratitude things. You're going to journal positive things. You're going to play some music. You're going to physically celebrate about something. You're going to do one of these things that helps get you back into that joyful mood. You're going to watch some comedy, whatever. All right. It doesn't have to be big, but notice where it comes from and prepare for it. All right. And then, do you have a habit of connecting with others over mistreatment or having a hard time or being exhausted? Or one great influencer out there, Brene Brown, talks about this as hot wiring connection. That a lot of times, in order to quickly connect with people, we find areas of our life that we both feel like it's socially okay to complain about. So one of those for me is having a big family. Oh, yes, I have 7 kids. Can you imagine? It's really common for people to have a connection over how hard it is to raise their kids, how tired they are, how much they have to do, how busy their life is, how exhausted we are, how much sleep we didn't get last night, how much coffee we think we need. All of those things are kind of like buzz topics for connecting with other people. And it's just important to start noticing in your own life what conversation topics are your hot wires. What are your go-to things that you talk about to somebody else? Is it something that is centered around gratitude and joy? Hey, like, let me tell you what's going great in my life right now. Let me tell you how the Lord is blessing me. Let me tell you how I'm pushing forward with something and it's been hard, but I am having an amazing time doing it. Are those the things you connect over, or is it a negative thing? Just be aware of it and notice it and start practicing. Oh, well, if I don't want to feel like having 7 kids is hard, maybe I should quit saying it is every time I talk to somebody new. Huh. If you want to stop feeling tired and exhausted, maybe we stop saying every time we talk to somebody how tired and exhausted we are. Do you know that there's actually a chemical thing that happens in your brain when you say I am tired or exhausted? It actually makes you feel more tired when you say I am tired. So if that's not how we want to feel, then we need to quit saying it. whether it feels true or not, if it's not how you want to feel, let's quit using it as a common topic of conversation. I'm not saying never say that you're tired. That's not the point. Sometimes you really do have a night where it's like, yeah, I got 2 hours of sleep and I'm just letting you know I'm showing up. I'm showing up. Here I am, and I don't have a lot to give, but I'm here. And maybe there's a necessity to talk about that. But the times you need to be aware of are, is it the thing that you bring up to talk about every time or on a regular basis? Is that the equivalent of your grandma saying, when you get together with somebody, it's okay to talk about the weather and your health? Remember how that was like, those are the 2 topics that you're allowed to talk about, the weather and your health? Well, what are your topics that you bring up first? And are they negative? And let's notice and create a little list of what can you connect with instead. Hey, I love, what are your best and worst things that are going on in life right now? I love asking that question. It really gets to the heart of like where people are at. Hey, what are you loving about your job right now? What's one of the hardest things that you have about your job right now? It doesn't, it digs in deep. What is a school subject that you're really excelling at in your homeschooling right now? What are you thrilled to be what are you excited to be teaching this year? Or what are your kids doing well in school this year if they're in a school? Where are they really thriving? What's working well in your family right now? People are like, I don't know, let me think about that. Do you know that a lot of people don't even think about anything that's working? They only think about the problems. This is a chance to think about what's working. And as we see things that are working, we'll start to notice other things that are working. And as it becomes a habit, our vision will change. And you'll start to see there's a lot of stuff that's working. There's like, my whole life is working. Actually, most of my life is working. In fact, very few things are not working. And all of a sudden, I have an amazing life. And nothing's actually changed except what you choose to think about on a regular basis. But it won't feel like that. It will feel like everything has changed. Everything has changed. And some things will, because how you show up, you'll up level what you do in your life. You will raise the standard of how you show up to places, how you dress, what kind of exercise you do, how you talk to your family, whether or not like the inspiration is so much more energizing, it's so much more productive, it's so motivational that things actually will improve. But it won't be because you're having to work hard at it. It's just going to be because in your mind you started prioritizing gratitude and joy. All right. So that's the training around gratitude. Keep in touch with me. Let me know how you're doing around this. I want to hear how it goes for you. Otherwise, take care. That's today's training for joy.